Hello, everyone. Good evening. Okay, I think we can start. So yesterday we thought that yesterday was our last session, but okay. I guess few of you requested to have another doubt session. Like, okay. So yes. So here we are meeting again. Right. Hopefully not for the last time. Right. We might see each other again tomorrow or either in some other module. Okay. So let's begin. So I think we have done we touched every topic yesterday. I don't think we have any specific topic to revise, but yeah, we can do questions. So firstly, any question that's there in the assignment that's still pending that you want me to discuss anything, or we can start by the gym questions directly. Stranger strings. Okay, stranger strings. This one assignments done. Okay. What about others? Do you have any questions? AJ number we solved, right? AJ, did we not solve AJ? AJ number to solve kara humne. I remember how that one we solved. Acha, I'll explain that. Yes. So if you want, we can do that again. So let's go in order. So I see one question. Copying. There were a few questions that we discussed yesterday. I closed all the tabs, so I don't have.
हेलो सर।
Yeah.
सर एग्जाम कितना टफ होगा सर?
I would say medium level होगा, like tough तो नहीं होगा. हाँ, you cannot expect it to be very easy. But हाँ, medium level के exam you can expect, right? ठीक है, I'll explain Chitra. Don't worry, I'll explain that AJ number. Maximum occurrence. Once again, okay. So let's. I'll see that. Okay, so we have some doubts, right? So you have doubts. So let's go in the order. So we have few strings, so I'll give you ideas about how to approach questions, right? So that's going to be important. Smallest greater elements. So this one we did not solve yesterday. So this one we discussed, right? So let's start with this one, right? This one is easy. Chalo. Let's think of this solution. So I don't know how bubble sort would be used in this algorithm. Okay, that's something like it's mentioned like you have to use bubble sort, but I'm not getting any logic of how we can use bubble sort over here, being honest. So I'll tell you one logic, which is n square. So anyways, bubble sort also would be n square. And n square would be fine over here because it is 10 to the power 4. So 10 to the power 8 is fine, right? So should be fine. So let's try to use that. So what is my logic? My logic is very simple, right? I'm not thinking anything like new, anything unique or something. I'll simply use like the current array. I'll go through all the element in the array. I'll try to find out the smallest greatest element, like smallest greater element, right? If I get that, I store it in the result array. That's it. Let's create a result array. Okay. New and this is of size n. Okay. And what I want to do is for each a of I equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. For each a of I want to go through the entire array. Okay. So, okay. So my current number is a of I, right? For a of I want to go through the entire array. J is equals to 0, j is less than n, j plus plus. Okay.
सर which question this was sir?
Smallest greater element.
Yes.
So here what we want to do is now we are going in through the entire array again. What we want to do is we want to find the number which is greater than the current number, and like it is smallest among all the numbers which are greater than the current number, right? So for example, we'll check. Let's say we'll take a maximum. So int maximum is equals to okay. Let's think, right? So we want to check whether the current number, whether like if the current number is greater than the maximum. No, if let's start with assuming maximum is a of I. Okay. Or let's assume a of 0 simple. if the a of j that we have, if this is greater than the current number, that is a of I, then that can be the smallest greater number. But now this should be smaller among all the other numbers, right? So this should be now if this a of j is less than maximum. Yes. So if this number is greater than, if this number is greater than a of I, that means this number is greater than the current number we are considering. And if it is less than the maximum, then it is fine, right? The maximum is chota hona chahiye. So I guess we can start with this integer. Maximum can be integer dot max value. You can start with maximum as integer dot max value. Okay, check. What we are doing is we are trying to find out a number which is greater than the current number. So current number that we are considering is a of I. Any number that is greater than a of I is can be can be the greater number. Now, whatever is the smallest among all such numbers, we have to find out that. So how are we finding the smallest among all such numbers? So for example, let's say for 6, we'll get 13 is the greater one. So we'll say, oh, 13 is greater than this. So we'll check, is 13 less than the maximum that we have right now? Yes, it is less than. So we'll store 13 is the maximum. Like next we'll get 17. Will okay, 17 is greater than a of j, but is 17 less than the maximum we have right now? No, 17 is not less than maximum. 13 is the maximum we have, which is fine, right? Then we'll get 12. Is 12 greater than the number we have? Yes. Is 12 less than the maximum that we have right now? Yes, 12 is less than the maximum. So we can update our maximum to be a of j. Okay, that's it. Right. Now we got this. So we got minimum, we got maximum. Now for every maximum, we'll store it in the result. Now result of I will be equals to maximum. Now this will be equals to maximum, but if we might get integer dot max value, if this condition never satisfies, for example, here in for 70, we will not find any number which is greater than 17. So this will not satisfy, we'll end up storing integer dot max value. So what we can do is we can compare it. If after end of this loop, if this number is still integer dot max value, then what we can do is we can put it as this number negative this, otherwise we can put it as max. And if this is done, we can return the result. Okay, let's try to check this once. I'll explain it here for sure. Didn't get the question? Okay, see, what we want to do over here is for every number, we have to find out the smallest greater number. Now, what is smallest greater number? So break it into two terms. So smallest greater number is, so for example, consider the number 6. So which numbers are greater than 6 in the array? 12 is greater than 6, 13 is greater than 6, 17 is greater than 6. Among all these numbers which are greater, which one is the smallest number? So 12. So the answer is for 6, the output is 12. Right? Same scenario consider for 13. For 13, which is the smallest greater number? So for 13, which numbers are greater than 13? So there is only one number in the array which is greater than 13, which is 17. So the smallest greater number is 17. For 17, which number is greater? There is no number which is greater than 17 in the array. So the smallest greater number, we have to display negative of this, right? That is mentioned in the question, that if there is no smallest greater number, then you have to print negative something, negative 10 to the power 8 or something like that. Okay. And for 12, you have two numbers which is greater than 12, right? So one is 13 and one is 17. So you have 13 and you have 17. So the smallest greater number is 13. So that's why I'm printing 13. Understood? So this is what you have to do. So you have to basically find out the number which is greater than the current number and smaller among all the numbers that are greater than the current number, right? So how did I do it? Understood the question now? Is the question clear now? What you have to do? Anyone having doubts now? What we are doing in the question? Is it clear? Now let's explain the code, right? What we are doing in the code. See, so in the code, we want to find out the smallest greater number, right? So बहुत simple question है, right? So, assume, let's say you want to find out the greatest number, right? Greater number just than a of I, you want to find out a greater number, right? So what will you do? So what we are doing is we are running one loop, that is we are picking every number, right? So for example, we'll firstly pick 13. Okay. So a of I is 13. We took maximum as plus infinity. We want to find any number which is greater than 13, right? Firstly, we want to find any number greater than 13, and then we'll find out the smallest among them, right? First thing is to find out any number greater than 13. So how will we find any number greater than 13? So what we are doing over here is, see, so here in this particular loop, in the J loop, I am starting and I am checking, is a of 0 greater than 13? What is a of 0? So a of 0 is 13. So is 13 greater than 13? No, this doesn't satisfy. So let's move to the next iteration. Next iteration we are checking, is 6 greater than 13? No, this also doesn't satisfy. Let's move to the next iteration. Is 17 greater than 13? Yes, this satisfies. Now, since this satisfies, we'll check the second condition, which is 17 less than the maximum that we have? Right. Now, why we are doing this check, you'll very soon understand when we'll have a scenario like 6, right? So now it is less than max, right? Max is positive infinity, so we store 17 over here. Done. We come out of the loop. Is maximum still equals to integer dot max value? Next, we'll check 12 greater than 13. This is false. We come out of the loop. We'll check, is maximum equals to integer dot max value? No. So we store result of 1 is 17. So we see the first value is 17. Now look at the second iteration. What is going to happen over here? Since for 6 there are multiple values, see how is this scenario getting handled. So firstly we got 17. Now in the next situation, when we have 6, okay, so first we got 17. For 6, we'll compare, is 13 greater than 6? Yes, 13 is greater than 6. Okay, what was maximum? Maximum was plus infinity. Okay, so is 13 less than plus infinity? Yes, it is. So we'll store 13 as the maximum. See, what we are doing is we are comparing the number to be, if it is greater than a of I, right? For the current number, whatever is the current number, a of I, right? If the number is greater than the current number, that can be a possible solution, right? It is a greater number. Now, whether it is the smallest greater number or just a greater number, that we'll figure out how. So if it is a greater number, then we'll check whether it is smallest among all the numbers that we are considering, right? So right now we consider 13, we stored 13 into the result. Okay. Next iteration will compare 6 greater than 6. No, this is false. Next iteration will compare 17 greater than 6. Yes, this is true. But now look what is going to happen over here. So here we'll compare 17 is okay. Is 17 less than 13? No, right? 17 is greater than 6, right? 17 is greater than 6, but it is not less than the maximum that we have. That means earlier we got one maximum, which is 13. Right now we are getting 17. Out of these two, if I have to find out the smallest greater one, we should be picking 13, not 17. So whichever is the smaller among them, which we'll be picking that, right? So this is the smallest greater among them. Okay, let me write it in this way. You will be able to understand it in that way, I guess. वैसे समझ आएगा. So basically, consider it like this. So not finding out the maximum, we are finding out the minimum. Okay. So here actually I'm not finding out the maximum. I am finding out, this logic is to find out the minimum. Okay. So what we are doing is we are finding out the numbers which are greater than the current number, and among them we are finding out the minimum number, right? So among these we are finding out the minimum number among all this. Now we got 17. Okay, 17 doesn't satisfy. 17 not less than 13. We still store 13. Next iteration will have 12. So we'll check, is 12 greater than 6? Yes, 12 is greater than 6. Now we'll compare, is 12 less than the minimum number, like minimum smallest greater number that we have? Yes, it is less than the smallest greater number. So 12 is another number which is smaller than the current number, and it is even less than the number that we had, right? So we had 13. So it is even less than this. So the smallest greater number is 12, not 13. So let's update this. So we updated it to 12. So finally, is it equals to integer dot max value? No. So we store 12 in the place of result. In case of 17, none of them is going to satisfy. 13 greater than 17, 6 greater than 17, or 17 greater than 17, or 12 greater than 17. None of them is going to satisfy. So we are going to put minus this. So this is going to remain integer dot max value, and in that situation, we are going to put negative something. Understood? So I have written both the logic in a single if statement, where we are finding out the greater and we are finding out the smaller as well. right? You can do it in multiple ways. You can find out all the numbers which are greater than this, store it into an array list, and then run one more logic which using which you can find out the minimum in that array. That would be like simple, but yeah, you would need additional space to do that or something. So for example, you don't need to write this. What you need to do is you need to create an array list that will store all such numbers which are greater than current a of I. And now you just need to find out the minimum between that. I just wrote the same logic of finding out the minimum over here itself right away. Understood now? Clear? Okay. How to avoid code duplication functions, right? So code duplication, if you have duplication code, use functions. That's the ways to avoid it. Or you can think out some different logic as well. But yeah, functions is the easiest way. Okay, now let's proceed to the next question. So this is done. Okay, license of. I remember this was a question which was there in one of the module tests. I guess tomorrow you have. Okay, for those of you who have not, is there anyone who has not appeared any one of the module tests till now? Is there anyone who has not appeared any one of the module tests? Not right. Okay. In case there is anyone, please appear tomorrow's module test. Otherwise, you will not be sorry. Tomorrow's weekly contest. Otherwise, you will not be able to attend the module test. Okay. So you will not be like you will not be eligible for the module test. You should be appearing for at least one weekly contest in order to be eligible for the module test. Okay. So let's check this question. So this is marked as medium. So I think this is a good question. I remember this. Okay, so this is a question actually which is which I remember very well. I think I'll tell you some story about this. Okay, so we there is a shop LIS is working has a plan in following end days. For each day, sales manager knows exactly ith day KI products will be put up for sale, and exactly I clients will come up to the shop that day. Also, the manager is sure that everyone who comes to the shop buys exactly one product, or if they aren't, if there aren't any left, he leaves the shop without buying anything. Moreover, due to the short shelf life of the products, manager established the following rule. If some part of the products left on the shelves at the end of the day, products aren't kept on the next day, are sent to the dump. Okay. So for example, if there is any product that is kept on shelf and they aren't sold, then they would be sent to the dump. For advertising purpose, manager offered to start sell out in the shop. He asked to choose any F days from end next days for sell out. On each F days of chosen days, the number of products put up with the sale will be doubled. Thus, if ith day the shop planned to put up sale KI products, Elias has chosen this day sales of the shop would keep 2 KI products. Consequently, there would be opportunity to sell 2 times more products on the sellout days. A task is to find out choose F days to maximize the total number of sold products. Asked to help with such a difficult problem. Okay. Okay. For those of you who did not get anything about the question, let me explain this. So see, it is told that there are firstly there is n and there is f, like first line of input contains n and f. Then you would be given inputs like four inputs. There are two, each input has two values. One is ki and li. So ki is the number of products you have. So basically, for example, the first day you have 2 products. The number of people that visit the shop on that day is 1. Okay. The number of second day you have 3 products. Number of people that visit the shop is 5. Then you have 2 products. Number of people visiting is 3. 1 product. Number of people visiting is 5. Okay. Now, out of these n days, you can choose 2 days such that you can double up the product those days. So, for example, if let's say you don't have F, so how many products would be sold like right now? So the number of so every customer buys only one product, exactly one product. So the first day you will be able to sell one product. There are two products, there is only one customer, so you sell only one product, right? Second day you have three products, but you have five customers. So here you will be able to sell only three products and you will be sold out. So two customers will return empty handed, right? For two customers, you don't have any products. On this day, you will be selling one products to each of the customers, and then there would be one customer that would be like returning empty handed. He won't have any product, right? On the last day, you will be able to give product to only one of the customers, and one like four customers would return empty handed, right? So you are able to sell 3 plus 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So you are able to sell total 7 products given these constraints, right? So on each day, so someday like you are seeing that you had more products, but the customers were less. Okay. Someday you had less products, but the customers were more, so the few customers returned empty-handed. So your task is to choose F days such that on such days you will be able to double up the product. Okay. So if you like whichever F days you choose, you will be able to double up the product on those days, and like basically you will be able to drive a higher sale. So for example, if I choose the first day and I double up the product, is there any sense? So even if I keep 4 products or 100 products, the sale is going to be only one, right? So the sale is only one, so it doesn't make any difference, right? The sale, okay, it doesn't cause any difference. Okay, let's check for the second one. So if I choose the second day and I double up, yes, here we may get some increase in sale, right? So if we choose this one and we double up, so our total sale will become 5 instead of 3. And if we similarly choose this day and double up, our total sale will become 3 instead of 2. So we now are able to sell from 7. Now we are able to sell 10, which is the maximum we can achieve. Right? This is the maximum we can achieve choosing 2 days to double up the products. Okay, understood? So now you are given for like you are given n and you are given each days. Now you are given a value f. So you have to choose such f days so that on those days, if you double up the product, your sale would maximize. And you have to print the final output value of sale. You don't even have to tell which days you picked up to double up or whatever. You just have to tell us the final output of the sale. Right? Achha. Now tell me, anyone, any ideas of how you can solve this? How many of you understood the question? How many of you did not get any idea? Got it easy? So, shall I tell the approach that you're thinking? This is an interesting question. These are the kind of question that you actually get in interview. Find difference, having maximum difference, you multiply the product by 2. Yes. Should find out the difference between this, the products having like the day which we have highest number of difference between the number of product and number of customers arriving. We will basically try to double up on those days. Okay. So let's see. Okay, this is one logic. What else can we do? Is there any edge case? Let's think. Already is when the difference is high. So, okay, the days on which the difference is positive, right? For example, the days you have more products than customers, those days you don't have to do anything, right? The days on which you have more products than customers, so those days are automatically gone. You don't need to do anything on that, right? Yes. Now on the days when you have negative difference, where you have more customers and you have less number of products, on those days you can double up. Now you have to pick out of these days the F days on which you double up, so you get the max, like you get the maximum profit, right? Okay. Just a second. Positive. Last row is a difference 4 and we might double up over here. Okay, and we might end up. So this should be the first, right? So whenever you should double up, so this should be the first thing that you should double up, right? So here the difference is -2, here the difference is -1, here the difference is -4. Right. So if we double up using this delta, we might end up in a scenario like this. Yes. So consider on some day you have 30 and you have let's say 50 over here. And on one day you have like 1 and 60 over here. So the difference is highest over here, right? So the difference is here you're going to get -59 as difference. Here you're getting 20 as -20 as difference. But you should not double up this one, because if you double up this one, you will be able to generate only +1 extra sale. But if you double up this one, you will be able to generate like +20 extra sale. So that you cannot double up based on difference. Okay. So that's not going to work. What else? Think. After doubling up, the difference between the product and the customer should be minimum. Okay. Let's check this for a second. Okay, so I see, let's think, right? So I see, right, DP to nahi hai na tag, sorting here, okay, that's fine. So okay, so let's think, right? So see, that solution will not work in all the situations where we'll just find out the difference. So this is like the situation, right? So we have to check on which days. So for example, here we double up. So what's the maximum gain we are getting? Here we double up. What's the maximum gain we are getting? Here we double up. What's the maximum gain we are getting? Right. So see, logic is very simple. कुछ नहीं करना है. So first we'll count what's the current profit that we are getting, right? So if the number of customers is less, then we just sell the equal to the number of customers. If the number of product is less, then we sell equal to the number of products. Okay, so that is the current profit. So let's just find out the total number of sale that we are making currently without increasing anything. Okay, so this is the K array and this is the L array. Okay, so we have N, which is the number, which is the size of both arrays. We have that. So what we can do is we can run a loop. Let's call it as current sale. Okay, int current sale or current sale. Okay, which is nothing but 0 initially, and we'll add up the sale. So int I is equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. If right, the number of products, if k of I is greater than the number of customers, right? If this is the situation, if the number of products is greater than the number of customers, then the sale is equals to the number of customers we have, right? So sale plus is equals to L of I. Okay. Else, in the situation where the number of product is less than the number of customers, sorry. So number of products is less than the number of customers. So the sale is equals to the number of customers plus is equals to number of customers. So K of I. Okay. So this is the current sale, right? So if I just print this, so you will be able to see 7 for this. Okay, this current sale. Not got this one. Achha. How many of you understood this one? How did we calculate the current sale? Achha, anyone having doubts in the question? Well, a question clear. See, how did we calculate the current sale? Current sale calculate karna bahut easy hai. See, what we are doing is, so consider this day. How many products will you sell? So you have 2 products and you have 1 customer. So each customer is buying only 1 product. How many products you will end up selling? 1. right? So your current sale is 1. Everyone understood this one? In this situation, your current sale is 1. Okay. Now let's say your the products that you have, let's say the next day you have 3 products and you have 5 customers. How many products you will end up selling over here? 3, right? Acha. So how can I break it down into a programming logic? If I have to calculate the total number of sale I'll make, forget about this F, right? We'll double up something or forget about that. Let's try to figure out the current sale, right? वो double up करके sale तो will figure out. Current sale तो figure out करे पहले. Right. So what's the current sale that we are getting? We are getting 3. How are we calculating this? ये कैसे calculate कर रहे हैं? How are we telling? So see, we are doing a simple logic. So consider 2, 1. In this situation, you are telling the current sale is 1. Why? If the number of products is greater than the number of customers, then we find out the we add the number of customers, right? We added the lowest one. Yes, we added the lowest number. If the number of products is greater than the number of customers, right? If product is greater than the customer, then we sell our sale is equal to the number of customers that's arriving, right? Or if the product is less than equals to the number of customers, then the total sale is equal to the number of products. Yes. Check. Is it true? Does it hold true? Will it give me the current sale? So that's what I am doing. If the products is greater than the customers, then our sale is equal to plus the number of customers. Otherwise, our sale is equal to the number of products. Yes. No. How many of you did not get this now? अब समझ नहीं आया? समझ आया? Easy. Is it difficult? Easy. So you got the current sale, right? Now I have given you F days to choose from on which you can double up the products. Okay. So let's not choose F days. Let's not do anything. Let's try to do one thing. Okay, very simple. So for example, if I run this logic, we are getting 7, right? So our current sale is 7, which is fine. On first day, we are selling 1. Second day, we are selling 3. So that's 4. On third day, we are selling 2. That's 5. 4 plus 2, 6. And last day, we are selling 1. That's 7. So total 7 sale that we are getting, we calculated it 7, right? Now we should choose some days on which we can double up. Actually, you don't need to choose. Okay. Let's do one simple logic. Let's double up on every day. Okay. So what I'll do is, let's store a result, int result, or let's call it as new sale. Okay. NS is equal to new int. So this is a new sale array. What I'm trying to do is will try to calculate what's the increase in sale that we are getting on each of the days if we double up. So for example, if on ith day, if I double up, right? So what's the current sale that we are getting on ith day? This is the current sale, right? We can calculate this in the first iteration as well. इसको यहाँ पे calculate करने की जरूरत नहीं है. So let's move it over here. And let's use the same thing to calculate this. Okay. So let's do one thing. I don't need another loop, I guess. Okay. So after we calculated the current sale, right? So this is the current sale. We got the current sale is this. Let's store it somewhere. उसमें store कर लेते हैं. Let's store it as CS is equals to 0. Let's store it as this is CS. Yes. And let's just add it to the result. Okay, I did not do anything much, right? I just put this into a variable. Okay, there is no change in logic till now. Okay, I just created one variable. I marked it as 0. Okay, I just marked it as 0, and then I like calculate the same using the same way, right? If this is greater than the current sale is Li, or if this is greater than the current sale is Ki. Right? Or you can even use direct minimum logic, that would also work fine, right? Minimum use below, that is fine. Or you can, instead of this, you can just do, let's remove this. So if you understood, this is math dot minimum between K of I and L of I. Okay. Understood this one? I just removed that if else, and that was simple minimum check. So I just used the mathematical function. I found out the minimum and just added it into the current sale. So this is our current sale, right? If I run this, it's not going to cause any difference. It's just the same. How did we move the code? Just Alt plus up arrow, down arrow, it moves it. Okay. Alt up arrow, down arrow, that moves the code. Any selected piece of code that you have. Okay. Now it's 7. Okay. Okay, understood this. Anyone, any doubts over here? Because the next part is going to be a little bit tricky. So yes, this one is clear. If I would have written directly minimum, it is difficult to explain, but since I wrote it in if else, it was easier to understand for all of us, right? Okay. Okay. Now, so once we did this, right? Once we are done with this, now see what I'm trying to do is what we'll try to do is okay. So we'll double up the current product, right? Whatever is the current day. So let's find out the double product. So if we double the product on the current day, okay, double the product on the current day. So what's the total? What's the new number of product that we'll get? So the current product is k of I. So the new number of product is k of I into 2. This is the if we just double up the product. Now, doubling of the product, what's the difference in sale that we are making? So what's the new sale that we are making? Let's call it as new sale. So what's the new sale that we would make? The same logic, right? The new sale we would make is mat dot minimum if we double up the product, comma, the number of customers that we have on the current day. Okay. Tell me, understood these two lines of code. So I doubled up the product on the current day and I found out the new sale. So new sale is the minimum between the double up product and the customers that we have, right? Same logic that we used above. Like think, यहाँ पे अगर double product होता 6 होता, so what would the sale that you would making? Still minimum of 6,5, right? That is the sale that we are making. Now what is the difference in the sale that you have got? So what's the difference in sale that you got? So your sale increased by, right? So your sale increased by new sale minus the current sale that you have, right? So if you double up the product, you get new sale, and the difference in these two sales is new sale minus current sale. So this is the difference in sale that you are making. This is the gain in the sale that you are getting, or if you are getting any gain, right? If you are getting any gain in the sale, this is the difference in the gain sale you are getting. If there is no difference, for example, here if you double up, you create 4 products, still you will be getting only 1 sale. So there is no difference. The difference is 0, right? You make 0 extra sale by doubling up the product on this day. You make 2 extra sale by doubling up the product on this day. You make 1 extra sale by doubling up the product this day, and you make 1 extra sale by doubling up the product on this day. Understood? And finally, your NSI is created. That is like the difference in that is the extra sale that you make if you double up the product on each days. Understood? Clear? Now tell me the solution. अभी भी किसी को solution नहीं चमका? अब तो चमक जाना चाहिए. Think. I'll give you a minute to think. What's the solution? Tell me. We have an array that is storing the extra sale, right, on each day, right, that we would get if we double up the product, right? अगर product को double up करेंगे, so extra sale क्या बनेगा? वो इस array में stored है, ठीक है? We have the current sale. What's the current amount of sale that we are making? Now you have to choose f days from all the given days. That how many what's the new amount of sale that you'll get? Yes. किसी को भी नहीं चमक रहा, क्या करना? एरे बना दिया हमने एक्स्ट्रा सेल का. current sale we know the current sale, we know that what's the extra sale that we can make on each days. Now you have to pick, right, on max of new sale. We have to pick max f maximum numbers from the new sale. See what we are told, that we have to pick f days on which we want to double up. That so which f days we'll pick? So I'll just sort this array. Okay. This will be the ascending order sort, right? I'll pick f days from the end. Okay, I'll simply pick f days from the end. So let's call this is n minus 1 is greater than equals to z n minus f I minus minus, I guess. Take f maximum values. Yes, that's the correct solution. Now our current sale, whatever is the current sale, we'll just add whatever is the extra sale that we would get on these f days, right? So the last day, so f minus n minus 1. So let's say for this array, we'll do n minus 1 is 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So 3, 2, 1. Oh, no. This is great. 3, 2. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. So 3 and 2. Okay. I guess this should be fine. Right now, if we run this, we have just picked the last f values of this after sorting it. Oh, did I miss something? We sorted it. Let's try to print this. Four minus 2. One zero. How are we getting 1 0? Oh, sorry. New sale. This is CS, right? Sorry. Should be current sale. Okay. I guess now it should be fine. Now we are getting 10. Okay. So for this one also, we should be getting the correct output. Okay, fine. Okay, how many of you understood this? How many of you didn't? Tell me, then I'll explain this. The question बहुत easy है, right? Just that it is a little bit tricky to think. We'll get this long as result. Now let's try to get this some. Right. So this is long. Okay, the difference might also be telling is long. What is the difference? Okay, clear? Okay. Sure. Let me explain this. How many of you got the first two lines? ये two lines समझ आया इस loop का? So these two lines we are just finding out the current sale. देखो current sale में तो कोई logic नहीं है, कुछ बहुत difficult नहीं है वहाँ पे. It is just simply telling you that there are two things, right? So on some days you like the number of products that you have on each day is fixed. मान लो चलो let's say कि हम momos बनाते हैं, ठीक है? We have our momo stall, ठीक है? So we have a momo stall and let's call it as code momos or coder momos. So there is one one momo stall near my society. The name is coder momos. I don't know if the person is an engineer or a tech person. He has kept the name as coder momos. Okay, so let's keep our momo stall name as coder momos. Okay, so what we do is like we all plan and we all plan to make momos, right? So someday we make more momos, someday we make less number of momos, and now we are doing this business for quite a while. Now we know on which day we are able to make how many momos and on which days how many customers come. So for example, well, let's say the first day we make 5 momos. On that day, only 3 customers come into our shop. So each customer eats only 1 momo. Okay, each customer is eating only 1 momo. So on this day, we'll be able to sell 3 momos. Why 3? We made 5 momos, but only 3 customers came, right? So since each customer is eating only 1 momos, we'll be able to make 3 momos sale. On next day, let's say we made 4 momos, but on this day, there were 8 customers that came into our shop. So in this day, so first day, the customers were less. We had less customers. We had more product. So we ended up eating 2 momos ourselves, right? We were left with 2 momos. On the second day, we had more customers, but less product. So we are only able to give momos to 4 of our customers, and we were not able to give momos to the remaining 4 of our customers, right? So here we had more customers. So first day we had less customers, second day we had more customers. Okay. So let's just like forget about everything else in the question. Let's first try to figure out how many total momo sale we are going to make, right? So it is given that this is the number of momos that we are making and these are the customers. So this is like the momos and this is our customers. Okay. So what we want to do over here is we want to find out how many total momos sale we are making. So on the day on which we have like more momos, less customers, we make the sale is equal to the number of customers. Okay. On this day, we make the sale is equal to the number of customers. If the product is greater than, if the number of momos we have is greater than the customers, the sale is equal to the customer. Okay. Sale is equal to the number of customers you have. If the product is less than or equal to the number of customer, your sale is equal to the number of products you have. For example, this day, on the day on which you have like less product but more customer, your sale is equal to the number of product. So basically, your sale is equal to the minimum between the product and the customers. Got this? First, you tell me, how did we arrive at this? You can write in if else logic view. So if you mat.mean feels complicated, you can write a if else logic. So I wrote a simply mat.mean that on this particular ith day, I'll be able to make a minimum of ki or li product, whatever is minimum, right? If I have more momos, if I have then my sale is equal to the number of customers. If I have more customers, then my sale is equal to the number of momos that we have. Okay, understood this one? Ye wala part samajh aaya, these two line. Anyone any doubts on this one? No doubts? Clear? Okay, so now what's okay? So we know this one. Okay. So now on this part we understood. Okay, so we can find out the minimum. Just a second. Okay, so now we understood on this part that we can find out the minimum number of either momos or the like customers will get the total number of sale that we are currently making. Next, what the question has told us that it has told us consider on you are given f days to choose, right? So for example, your total days were n. Out of these n days, you can choose 2 days. On those 2 days, you can double the number of products that you have. So for example, on the let's say I chose this day. So on this day, I can double up the product that we have. So I can double up the number of momos we have. Let's say we hired more people, we made more product. So we doubled up the number of product we have on this day. Okay. And similarly, you can choose f such days. Now you have to tell us what's the new number of sale you are making. And your sale should be the maximum. What's the new maximum number of sale that you can make if you choose those f days optimally, right? I can choose any f random days. So for example, if I choose this day, okay, and I would be having 4 momos on that day and I have only 1 customer. My sale was 7, still my sale is 7. There is no increment in the sale. But if I choose this day instead, I will be able to, earlier I was making 3 sales, now I would be making 5 sales. Earlier I was making 3 sales, now I'd be making 5 sales. So I jumped, my sale increased by 2, so my total sale would also increase from 7 to 9, right? So you have to figure out such f days on which if you double up, your sale would become maximum. Okay. So what we did, firstly we found out, okay, these is the total number of sales. Then I told, let's do one thing. I don't know which f days to double up, so let's double up on every day. हर दिन product को double कर लेते हैं. Let's find out what's the new sale that we'll make. So we know the current sale, this is the sale that we are making. Let's double up the product. This is the double of the current product. This is the total number of product that we would have. So if the total number of product was this, what's the new sale that we would make? Same logic, right? New sale is minimum of the product and the customers. So this is the new sale that we are making. Okay. So we already got that the current sale is this CS. And then if we develop the product, we would end up making new sale, this many sales, right? Now what I told is let's try to find out the difference between them. What's the increase in sale that we got? So I am looking for increase in sale. So if I get the maximum increase sales, right, first, I just consider the days on which we will get the maximum increase in sale. If I double up, I'll just double up on those days. Okay. So if let's say I got a sale on Sunday, if I double up, I get 50 extra sales. So I'll double up on that day instead of doubling on Sunday, where I'll just make 2 extra sales by doubling up. So for example, let's say on one day we are making 20 products and there were 50 customers. And on one day we are making 3 products and there were let's say 10 customers. So here if I double up on this day, I will end up making 20 extra sale. But if I double up on this day, I'll end up making only +3 extra sale. So I found out on which days I would double up so that I get the maximum extra sales. So this is nothing but extra sales. How many extra sales we are getting if we double up on the particular ith day? अगर मैं ith day पे double करूं product को, कितने extra sale होंगे? Extra find out कर रहा हूं मैं. ठीक है, I'm not finding out the sale, I'm finding out the extra sale. The new sale minus the current sale that we are getting. Now this extra sale, I'm finding out what is the maximum between these array. What are the maximum f values? I simply sorted it, right? If it had asked us to like find out only one such day on which you double up or two such days, then we would have find out the maximum on that array or second maximum on that array, largest, second largest, and so on. But here it has told us f extra days. So we've sorted the array and then we found out what are the such f extra days on which we double up and what are the extra f sales. What is the maximum number of extra sales that we would get on f days, right? So we just added those f days into the result and this is the final sale that we would be making. Now understood? So हमने वो f days pick करा जिस पे double up करना है जिससे कि सेल सबसे ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो और फिर उस f days को हमारे करंट सेल पे ऐड कर दिया. ठीक है, और वो कैसे पिक करा? सो हमने सॉर्टिंग पार्ट इज लिटिल कंफ्यूजिंग. देखो ये पता चला एरे में क्या हो रहा है. ये एरे क्या स्टोर कर रहा है? ये एरे एक्स्ट्रा सेल स्टोर कर रहा है. ठीक है, दिस इज स्टोरिंग द एक्स्ट्रा सेल. ओके, अब मुझे क्या करना था? वंस आई गॉट द एक्स्ट्रा सेल, व्हाट वी हैड टू डू वाज वी हैव टू फिगर आउट. ओके, now this array is storing the extra sale. Now once we got that extra sale, right, we have to figure out of these days which day will pick so that we get the maximum extra sale. Our final goal is to find out the maximum extra sales, right? So see, we were selling, right? We were selling when we were having a current sale. So we have to double up in such a way that we get maximum number of extra sales, and that's what we have to find out. So this array is storing the extra sales. We have to find out maximum extra sales that we can make. Great, and we have to add those f days. So I just sorted it. Now this array got sorted in the ascending order. I'm just picking the numbers from the end, right? So for example, on this day, even if we double up, we make 0 extra sales. On this day, if we double up, we make 2 extra sales. In this day, if we double up, we make 1 extra sale. In this day, if we double up, we make 1 extra sale. Now if I sort, so this is our array, right? This is how NS looks like. If I sort this, I get 2, 1, 1, 0. So these are the maximum extra sales. If I have to pick two days, I'll pick these 2 days, so that if I double up, I get the maximum extra sales. Okay. Now understood? Sorry, someone was saying something. No, do ही pick नहीं करने. We have to pick f days, right? So we have to pick f days. So f is given, right? So we are given the f. But how many extra days we have to pick up? Understood? No? Clear? Yes. Was this question difficult? Tell me, is there anything that's there in which is difficult? थोड़ा सा tricky था. I'll tell you that it was little bit tricky, but not very difficult. हाँ, tricky था थोड़ा सा. Let us figure out that extra sale. But see, sometimes now we start thinking. I'll give you one advice that sometimes we start thinking too much in terms of code. Okay, if I have to write this in code, how will I write? How will I write? That should not be your first concern, right? You should not think it in that way. You should first think, if I have to solve the problem, I don't have to write the code. If I have to tell the solution, how am I going to figure out? Okay, and 90% of cases, if you figure out for yourself, right? So for example, forget about code. Okay, you did not know coding two months before, right? We are not coding 5 years ago, right? So you were not coding before your bachelor's or whenever you started coding, right? So before that, if I give you this question, let's say this is a normal question that I gave you. Okay, I'm giving you 5 days or 10 days, and we are making this much product, and these much customers we are arriving, so we're making this much sale on those days. Okay, so on the days on which there are more customers, we end up the few customers don't get the product. On the day on which there are less customers, we end up our product gets wasted, right? So you have to pick up f extra days such that on those days, if we double up, you get the maximum number of sales. Okay, so we have the capacity to double up, but we can double up only on f extra F days, but not on all the days. Right? Now think it, how will you solve this question in real life, not in code? If you figure that out, you can easily implement it in code. Okay. So what's the logic that we took over here? If we have like those extra numbers, right? This is the extra amount of sale I would be making in this day. This is the extra amount of sale I would be making on this day, right? Explain after sorting. Okay. We got this difference. We stored the extra sales, right? So let's say this was the. Okay. So on this day we got 0 extra sale. On this day we got 2. This day we got 1, and this day we got 1. Okay, so we sorted it. So we got this is the extra total number of extra sales. Now on this loop, what I've done, I picked f extra days. Now this is like the array. Sorry, so the array would be sorted in the ascending order. It won't be sorted actually in the descending order. Arrays dot sort sorts it in the ascending order. So this would be your sorted array. Okay, I am telling that we want to pick f days from the end. So what are these? What is the index of this f days? It is n minus 1 to n minus f. Okay, so this is n minus 1, n minus 2. So this is the index of the f extra days. N minus 1, n minus 2. What is the index? So now we are running a loop from n minus 1 to n minus f. We are adding those extra sales. So what is the extra sale? So on this day we made 2 extra sales. So the current sale was 7 plus 2. So if we double up on this day, we'll end up making 9 sale. And n minus 2 is 1. So if we double up on this day, we would end up making so we would end up making 9 plus 2, 9 plus 1, that is 10 total 10 sales. Okay, understood? So we are picking up the maximum in the array. We are starting from the end of the array and going till index n minus f, like last f indexes. Okay, just a second. Okay, understood? Clear? Doubts? No doubt?
So,
Yes.
actually, I already approached this question, but in some while submitting, it won't pass. Or always getting wrong answer. But the answer is slightly similar to the correct output.
On this test cases?
Yeah, right, sir. But the given example questions are all passing. If
So
you don't mind,
tell you the
could you please
approach, like, for
have a
that?
look, sir?
Uh, yes, can you tell the approach so that I'll get the idea key what you were doing, then only I'll be able to know, right?
Yeah, so I will paste that.
Okay, I pasted the code.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so let's see, right? So let's also see another approach. Oh, okay, so you have done. Okay. So you've written a lot of logic. Okay, so let's see. So you found out the difference is long. Find out the number of cell according to the current stock. Okay, so the number of sale that you're getting as per the current stock. Okay, so you're storing that in difference of 5, right? That's the current sale that you're making. That's like the minimum. Okay. Now the maximum difference when the stock is higher than the stock. Finding the maximum difference when the requirement is higher than the current stock. So if this is less than this, okay. So if there is, if the requirement is, if the number of customers is more and the difference is not equals to 0, to find out if the difference is greater than max. Why have you checked for difference not equal to 0? Difference of 5 won't be equal to 0, right? And that's that would be the situation when there would be 0 products. Yes. So 0 products would be the situation. Okay, got it. So you don't need to double up on those days. If difference is greater than the maximum, you find out the maximum is equal to difference of I, index is equal to I. So find out, you're just finding out the maximum such that it is not equal to this.
Yes.
And that you are doing for every iteration.
Only for f times. We will
for f number of times, right? So basically, you're doing it for f number of times, right?
and also making the difference equal to 0. Then we need to recalculate that difference, right?
You are trying to find out the double of the product. You are finding what you're putting the difference is equals to 0. ठीक है. Then how are you finding out the sum? Finding maximum number of product that the shop can sell by checking new stock versus customer requirement. Maximum product the stock can sell. Okay, so there is a lot of things. Actually, it might be very difficult to figure out where things are going wrong. Okay.
Actually, before counting, we can do it in the while loop itself. I just
So I get here there is the second loop that you have written, finding out the maximum difference when the stock is higher. So you have to find out the maximum difference. There you are considering it should not be 0. Okay, that's fine. And you are trying to find out the maximum difference in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So you'll get F maximum differences, and what you are doing is with that F maximum difference, you are trying to double up the product on that day, on the day on which the difference is maximum, right?
Yes. Yes.
Get the correct result. So basically, if you are trying to get the, so for example, let's try to understand this, right? So for example, this is a day, this is a day. So the maximum difference would come out to be over here, right? The maximum difference is over here, and this is the day on which you would get a difference like 30. So you'd end up doubling this day, not on this day. Am I correct on this logic? Because you are checking the difference in the product. Yes, so difference is storing the current sale, and you are trying to check if the. So I guess, so is this not the problem?
Yeah. Yes, I know, I got it.
So
yeah.
Okay, so that difference is not yeah, it's like very initially I also got the idea that difference se kar sakte, but actually when I thought of it, difference, this scenario is not getting satisfied. So I have to find out the extra amount of sale.
But the given examples are giving correct output, sir.
Given examples, here there is no scenario, right, like that where the difference is so high, right? So for example here, right, the difference can be this high in real example. So here there is no such example, so it might be passing. So see, the examples that you get in questions now will not or will not show you the edge cases or all the extreme cases. So you have to think or write first a few extreme cases before trying out your logic. Okay, so this is like something which I also used to do. If I get a logic, I used to write the code, and then I would rely that if the test case fails, then I would think of a different logic. So before writing the logic, try to think of extreme cases. What if so what's the extreme in here? If I have a difference which is very high, if you have a difference which is very low, right? So consider array like that, and check whether your code is giving the correct output. If yes, then it is mostly correct. Then you can try to write the logic. If not, then you can think of a different solution. Okay. So here, like if I sum this up entirely into a single statement, what we are doing is we're trying to find out the extra sale that we would be making on each day if we double up, and among those extra days, extra sales, we have to pick the maximum F days, right? The maximum F days on which we'll be making max number of extra sales. Extreme. So see, you would generally see when I see a question, right? I pause for a while to think, right? So you have to think yourself what is the extreme case. So you should approach a problem like this. That firstly, let's say you got a problem, you got a approach, right? Now your approach might be correct. So now you have to think of the cases like, for example, what is the extreme case over here? So every problem will have extreme case, right? So for example, if let's say the previous problem we solved, right? So we solved one more problem. Let's open that tab. What's that? So this was the problem that we solved, right? So here, so let's figure out what's the extreme case in this situation. So the extreme case in this situation is if for every number, let's say every number is same, or every number is greatest, or every number is like having only one greater element. or every number is having only one smaller element, और ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है, right? और every greater तो नहीं होगा, हाँ ठीक है, every number is having just one greater or something, ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है, might be. So those are the few cases that you can consider. For example, you're not getting any idea what's the output is. That's what this expected output is, right? So you can check what's the expected output is for that situation. So for example, if we get the question like, what would be the output if we have 17, 17, 17, 17, right? So what should be the output in this situation? So do we have to consider the equal wala scenario or not? So here it is telling it should be negative 10 to the power 8. That means 17 is like we just have to consider strictly greater than not equal to wala scenario. So if the other numbers are 17, there is no greater number than 17. So that is one extreme situation, right? So if you have like 17 and then 1. So for 1, we should be getting 17. For 17, we should be getting negative such like. So these are few cases that you can consider. Some cases you might get very extreme scenarios like this. Mountain wala question that we did yesterday, right? So on that mountain question, I did not even think of like that can be mountain, can be asymmetrical. So I thought that we'll start from beginning. We'll start from the middle element and we'll just keep on adding one numbers to the left and to the right, until where our condition keeps satisfying. Like for example, this is the largest number, we get smaller, we keep on getting the smaller numbers. So we'll keep on. So this is our mountain, right? We'll call this as the mountain. But then we saw that okay, there is one edge case where the mountain can even look like this, right? So our mountain can even look like this. Now this is also a correct mountain. So what we have to do in this situation, right? So so mostly you should think like of test cases that might go wrong in your approach. So and then once you think of the test cases that will go wrong, and then you should start writing the logic. If the logic is very small, then you can write it right away. If you think that the logic will take time to think or to write, then you can firstly start by writing things like this, and then you can gradually improve your logic. Okay. And you would always see that I never go for the time of complexity. I did not even see the time constants here, right? So it is 10 to the power 5. Okay. So I did not bother about the time. So one thing is you should not see the time at the first iteration. Time constant you should not see. Okay. If you are seeing a new problem, try to avoid seeing the time constant for the first go and try to figure out the logic. Once you figure out the logic, you don't need to necessarily write that logic. Let's say we figured out an n cube logic. Do we need to write the n cube logic? No. Just write a rough idea. Like for example, if I is equals to 1 to 10, 1 to n, j loop is running from 1 to n, k loop is running from 1 to n, and we would be doing this operation. What's the thing that we can improve, right? What's the thing that we are doing again and again? Now don't write the code, but try to think how can you improve this logic, right? If you see that okay, it is n cube and your constant is given as 100, don't even go for optimization. Write this n cube logic, it would work. And then think of optimization, how you can improve it. If you are in a contest, then you don't need to think that right away. You can think it after the contest as well. If you can save your time at the contest, or you can save your time. If these things will be asked in interviews, not in contest, right? Contest, this would get accepted and it is not going to tell you any problem. Okay. Now let's see if this is told that the constant is 10 to the power 3. So this won't work. Now, how can you optimize this? So easiest thing that I tell you is to figure out if there is any way, right? You can remove this loop, innermost loop, and get the same work done by the outermost loop, right? So that is the easiest way to think of optimizing the problem, or you can relate to some existing logic that you have already done. Medium level, any questions? Okay, chalo, let's do some medium level questions. So which question do you want? Let's do some questions of strings. Anagram strings. When is it 10 to the power 8? It feels crazy. Don't worry, you will very soon be like when you learn about dynamic programming, the constant you will start to see is 10 to the power 7. Okay, so it would then 10 to the power 8 would look 10 to the power 5 would look very good. Because in most cases of dynamic programming, your logic is like order n or something. So yeah, anagrams. Okay, anagram is not here. Panagrams. It's a pitais. Did I solve? So pitais we solved yesterday. Do you want to solve this pitais one? So let's solve this one, pitais one, right? So I gave you idea yesterday. Let me solve this one. like you, like the time you reach till fifth module, you'll have good amount of experience on solving questions. So that would be like easy. So let's solve a few string questions, right? That was a good thing. I also recall that we have not solved too many of string questions. Okay. So let me recap the question. This I discussed yesterday. So what is this question telling? That this question is telling that there are three people, right? Strings. Okay, I'll do strings. I'll do pitise and then anagrams. Okay, so these three questions I'll do on strings. Okay, if there are any more, then we'll do them as well. So there are three persons. Let's call them. Their count of their score is 0. Okay, the count 1, count 2, and the count 3. The scores of all the three people is 0. Okay, there's 0 score initially. What they are doing is they are appearing for a competitive exam, and the exams have option like possible answers for each question is a MCQ question. It is like A, B, or C, right? The answers can be either A, B, or C. Now each of them has figured out their own logic. So for example, Arduino is going to write the answer in A, B, C, and he is going to repeat this string. Okay. Then we have Bruno. Bruno is going to write the answer as BABC, and he is going to repeat this pattern. And Goran is going to write the answer in this way. He is going to write CCABB, and then he is going to repeat this pattern. Now you have to figure out, you have to tell which one of them would have scored the like greatest score, or if they multiple of them have scored the greatest scores or the same score, you have to print all of them name. Okay. Okay. So let's see, right? So how can we figure out? So we are given a string. Let's call it. This is the answer key. Okay. So what we'll do is for each we'll traverse through the string. Okay, we'll traverse through the string. Ni plus plus. We'll check for each character in the string, right? So key dot caret I. If Arduino has given the correct answer for this, if Bruno has given the correct answer for this, or if Goran has given the correct answer. How will we figure out if Arduino has given the correct answer? So if Arduino dot caret this particular character index, if it is same, then Arduino has given the correct answer. So we can increase his count, right? Same goes for control C, control V, control V. Right? Same goes for Bruno, and same goes for Goran. Now there is one small problem over here, right? This is correct, but एक छोटा सा problem है. What's the small problem? That our string of Arduino, Bruno, and Goran is not equals to the length of string that we have in result, right? So result ka length of string is not equal. So for example, here see the result length is 5. Now there is a string for Arduino is of length 3. String for Bruno is for length 5, length 4. A string for Goran is length 6. So how can we get the index? So remember we used a percentage kind of thing earlier. So for this we can do percentage 3, percentage 4, percentage 5. Now how is this going to give us the result? Check. So for example, so first index will match with first one. Okay. So for first index, what's the index? Okay, percentage 6. Sorry. Okay. So what's the answer that Arduino has given for the first character? So first character in output is B. So we'll get key dot caret I is B. What's the answer that Arduino has given? So Arduino would have given this answer at 0th index, right? His string is whatever string he is following, whatever pattern he is following, his 0th index. So if we do 0% is 3, it is 0. So he will give the index as A. We will give the value as A. For next, the correct answer is A. And what is Arduino giving for this particular index? It is giving 1% is 3. That is index 1. What is index 1? B, right? So he is given index 1, that is B. Okay. Next, for the next answer is A. For index 2, Arduino has again given the percentage 3. So this is C, right? Arduino is given, this is 2. So Arduino has given the answer C. Because now till now we got 0, 1, 2, which is fine, right? We'll give ABC. Now for the next index, for this 4th index where the correct answer is C, what Arduino has given. So Arduino would start repeating the pattern, right? So Arduino repeat karega pattern ko. So his pattern would now have the first character that he had given. So we'll do 3% is 3, which is 0. So whatever is the character index 0, that is the output Arduino has given. That is the answer Arduino has given. For next one, we'll do 4% is 3. So that is the index 1. So you would have given the index 1, whatever is that index 1, that is the result you would have given. So basically, if you repeat ABC, 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 okay. If I tell you to what's the character at this particular index going to be, and I just give you this string, so you can simply figure out what's this index. You just can percentage. You can do %3. That will give you the result. Got it? So basically, %3 we are getting the index at the original string, and that index is containing the result that Arduino is going to give at that particular index. Understood? You can do string concatenation to figure out, but string concatenation is very costly. So you should not do that to figure the string out for n length. Okay, you should not figure out the Arduino string of n length or Bruno string of n length or Goran string of n length, right? If you use that approach to let's say this is of n length, okay, this is of 5 length, so let's figure out a string of 5 length, let's figure out a string of 5 length, and let's figure out a string of 5 length for this. You should not do it because string concatenation is a costly operation. Okay, understood? Clear? Okay, finally we got the count of each one of them. So what we have to do? We have to use the maximum of them logic, right? So if Ci is greater than C1 is greater than C2 and C1 is greater than C3. Yesterday we did that, right? System dot out dot println C1 system dot out dot println ABRIN. Actually, now there are going to be a lot of cases, like for example, C2 is greater than C1 and C2 is greater than C3. So our output is this is C2 and we have to print for Bruno. What's that's why I asked for 3 lines of code for 3 comparison. Three lines of code for 3 comparison. So let's figure out, right? I guess I don't think there is any way to do it or equal. I guess we can do one thing. So let's check, right? So if we write this, we'll be able to get, but I don't think I'm not getting any idea right now, being honest. This is greater than C3. So we can print Arden and Bruno. Else if C1 and this is Goran. C2 equals to C3 and C2 is greater than C1. So output C2. This is Bruno. Goran. Else all of them are equal. We are finding out the maximum. Maximum is equals to Arden. Yes, that's fine. Yes, that's a better way to write it. Yes. Thanks for pointing that out. That's a good way to do it. But finding out the max between 3 numbers will require to do this. So we require these 3 if else conditions. So maximum between 3 numbers, we'll find out this 3 if else conditions honge, but that is saving our time. Okay. Okay. Yes, that's fine. I say this one is better, right? With the way where you are finding out the maximum. So that's better. So you can use three things to find out the maximum. So for example, here you'll find out the maximum, here you'll find out the maximum, and here you'll find out the maximum. And you'll check which one of them are equals to maximum. You just print all of them. Okay. Okay. Anyways, that one you can manage. So this is the logic. Understood? Clear? Okay, let's do. Okay, so we are on time for break. Okay, so what else? What was the other question that you were telling? String strings. Where is that? String strings kind. That's not over here. Anagram is also not over here. Panagram says here, and I don't see anagram. Can you share the link of anagrams and string strings? So, let's go to the gym, right? So we can search. This one, string strings and anagrams. Okay, anagrams. So there are a lot of anagram questions. So I'll give you idea on one of them at least. Catch me if you can. I guess this question was there in last module test. Catch me if you can. So let's start with these two. Then I'll go to the catch me if you can. Okay. Before I start, let's take the quick break, right? So quickly come back from break, have your dinner, and then we'll discuss these questions. Okay. So 15 minutes, fine. Quickly come back from your dinner. We'll discuss these questions. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you all had your dinner. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so let's see the easy one first, which is anagram string. Okay, so this is a very common question. You'll see that there is a lot of variations of this questions in the platform as well, right? This is very often asked in interviews as well and in the online rounds. If you search for it, so you'll get a lot of similar variations like anagrams, anagram problem, anagram strings, find on anagrams. There's so many variations of this question, right? Okay, so I'll do the easy ones and you can try on the variations, like the harder questions, the medium questions. So that will give you the idea what it is, and then there can be constants, how the constants could be there on this question, and then you can think of those variations as well. Excuse me. Yeah. So here what we are given is we are given two strings, which are consist of lowercase characters. Our task is to check whether the given two strings are anagram of each other or not. Now, what is an anagram of string of each other or not? So an anagram string is of another string is that contains the same characters. Only the order of characters can be different. So, for example, act and tag are anagram string. Okay. So basically, so two strings are anagram if they have the same number of characters. They are just a different permutation of the same characters. So that is an anagram string. Now, so how can we do this? So easiest way is you can look for n if the n is present over here. Okay, you can look for a if a is present over here. You can look for m is present over here, and so on. But there can be a situation like this. So for example, here in this case of Naman, so our second string can look like m a n n n. Now, if you check n, it is present. You check a, it is present. If you check m, it is present. If you check a, it is present. If you check n, it is present. But are they anagrams? No, they are not anagrams. So this is not going to work in such a scenario like this. So what you need to do to avoid such scenario like this? You need to count the frequency of characters, right? So for example, if there are two frequencies, right? If there are, let's say, two n's and n frequency is 2, a frequency is 2, m frequency is 1. The same frequency should also be present over here. So m frequency should be 1, n frequency should be 2, and a frequency should be 2. Yes, Satta hashing. Let's give a better name, right? So that's like you can call it hashing as well. So basically what you need to do is you need to count the characters in the first string, and the second string should also have the same number of counts. That's it. Right. So how can we count the characters? So whenever the count comes, right? Whenever count comes into picture, what did I tell you? Right. Count, the easiest way to count the characters is, and since it has told there are only lowercase characters, right? So lowercase character, that means there are only lowercase alphabets that's present over here. Okay. So you can take a 26 size count. Take a 26 size array. So if you know the range of characters, you can take a smaller array as well. Is there any update that happened in the platform while we were solving questions? So let's call it as n is equals to s1 dot length and m is equals to s2 dot length. I have selected editor is. This doesn't have a JavaScript. This doesn't have a Java editor. How is that possible? Okay, acha, this is there in JavaScript. ठीक है, चलो, okay. So we can still do it, right? So you can at least understand the logic, right? So there might be so see now I'll show you how the other programming languages are also same. So we have str1, str2. So let's use the length functions, right? Okay. So we use the length function here, just that instead of integer, you need to take them as let. Okay, so this variables would be let, and this variable would also be let. Okay, that's it. So we have taken two variables, which is showing the length. Now, if the lengths are not equal, if n is not equals to m, then we can simply return, they are not anagram, right? So then that situation we have to return no, or we have to print it. So we just can print. So here in order to print, we can use this console.log and we can print no. And we can return from this function. Otherwise, what we can do is we can take an array and we can count, right? We can count the characters of the first string. So for example, let's call it as CT1, which will count the characters of the first string. So CT1 of S1, S2, right? So what is the character that we have? Let C is equals to S1 of I. This is the character. So you just need to use, like in here, you can use string as characters. You can get the character for that character. So that character minus. Now, if we have the character, what's the index? What's the index that we'll get? So index is nothing but the character minus a, right? So this is the index. On that index, we can just do plus plus. That's it. And same logic we have to do it for the second string, that is S2. Okay. S2 done. Okay. So now see what we have done. The first we had took one array where we counted the length of each character. So we got the character at index I. We got that character. We found out what's the index corresponding to this. So for example, A would correspond to index 0, B would correspond to index 1, C would correspond to index 2, D would correspond to index 3, and so on. Okay. We just increase the count on that particular index, and that's it. Right. We did it for the second one as well. Okay, and then at the end we'll check if both the strings are 0, I is less than count 1 dot length, I plus plus. Dot length, I guess you brackets. If any one of the lengths is not equal, so for example, count 1 of I is not equals to count 2 of I, then we can simply return no, that we found one character which count is not equal. And if at the end their counts are equal, then we can return yes. Oh, we don't have to return, we have to print it. So you can do console dot log no, and here we can print yes. Now here we need to return no. And here we can print yes, console dot log. Yes. Done. Just try to check this logic. Oh. So load log yes. Why we are getting another undefined? Oh, it is actually it is expecting us to return that value. It is not telling us to print. Oh. It is printing the value actually in the main function. So we have to return it. Why did it tell to print it? We have to return it. We don't have to print it. And here also we have to return it. C1, C2, here we don't have to mention the sizes of array, right? In JavaScript, you don't need to mention the sizes of array. That's like, so here you can, you can think it of like the same array list thing, right? So you don't need to mention them. Correct output is no, your output is yes. So if the sizes are not equal, we return no. If the sizes are okay. CT1 of I is not equals to CT1. Let's do one thing. I guess there is some mistake. CT1. Oh, I guess yeah, we have done the increment over here. So let's try to run this. What's the value that we have done? Oh, it's a nan. So I got it right. It's nan. So the first iteration we have to just put it 0. By default, it is not 0, right? So we have to put it here if CT1 of IND is not equals to 0. Then we'll put CT1 of IND is equals to 0. Else we'll just increase it. So by default here it is not, the value is not 0, right? Like in Java. So you have to, by default the value is undefined. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to now, if we should be able to see console. Okay, now we get 0 on 3, that's fine. So now this is fine. The second one would also work. Here we have to text CT2, CT2, CT2. Okay, and then we are comparing. Let's run this. For this, we should be seeing yes. And if we change it to P, we should be seeing no. Still see yes. If it is not equal, we don't enter into this. We are not entering into this. Why is that? Oh, okay. If it is not equal to 0, we are still putting it as 0. Okay. Sorry. If, or let's put it as if it is equals to undefined. Then we do this. And here also we can do it as this. Oh, that's got it. Actually, should not check it for not equal to 0. We should check it for equals to undefined. Still we are getting yes, and we are not entering into this. So that's strange. What's the value that we took? Undefined, right? So for if it is equals to undefined, we are undefined, then 0, 1, 2, 3. With this. Let's check with this. Some JavaScript issues. This is we are getting the correct thing. We are doing this. Okay, we are subtracting character from this m minus this, so it is not actually subtracting and it is doing nan. Okay, so we need to convert this into Okay, so here the subtraction is not implicit. I guess that's the problem over here. So it's converting it into nan. We need to do this in this way. Let's do it in this. More cent, I guess. This is again, this works over here, I guess. And character is, this is 97, right? Oh. How do you convert character to digit to? There would be some function to convert character to number. What's the function? Convert char to number. Yes. Char code at 0. Yes, I remember what this. It's string dot char code at 0. So I guess this is the function using which you can convert it over here. In JavaScript, in Java, it's all implicit, so you don't need to use it. This char code at, and the index is I. So this index, it should be able to convert it. If I run this, it should be HTML. Okay, now we are getting this minus 97. Okay, so this should be your index. We can do this for the same thing for A as well. Just as S1 done. So now we are actually getting the correct thing. One more. So why is it undefined? Why are we getting so many undefined output? Yes, actually, let's do this. Let's try to run this. Now it is telling no for this one, and it should be telling yes for Naman. This should be fine. Get numeric value, that I guess would also work. Yes, submit. Okay, done. Okay, so the logic is same, right? Just that I've written it in JavaScript. So few things are different, right? So for example, see, so the length function, right? How we find out the length of strings, it's same, right? We have length, same kind of length thing. Here we don't have to mention the type of data, like type of variables. You can use let, right? If the lengths are not equal, then right away they are not anagrams, right? Now, if the lengths are equal, right? So for example, if lengths are equal, then what we have to do is we have to count the character. So how did I count? So I simply put like that, okay, whatever is the ASCII code of this current character. So we can use like char code at. So this gives you the ASCII value of that character at this particular index in the string. And we subtracted 97 from it. We got the index 0. At index 0, we are basically checking if it is like that index, we have not put any value, because by default the values are undefined, unlike in case of Java where it is 0. So we are just increasing its value, right? If it is the first value, then we are putting 0, otherwise we are putting 1. Okay, we should be putting 1 over here, not 0, right? So logically we should be putting 1 over here. We are basically telling we are doing the count by 1. And if it is already present, if we have already put a value, then we are increasing it by 1, right? Next, we did it for both the like strings. So we counted the number of characters in both the strings and we stored it in a array. And finally, we are matching both the arrays. If the character count at each index in both the arrays is matching, that means it is anagram. If any one of the strings doesn't match at any index, if any one of the index in the count array does not match, that means there is some character which is present at different number of times. Like say M is present 3 times in first string and 2 times in the second string. So that situation we're returning no. Okay. Can you explain in Java how will we compare int 26 instead of 256? So you just need to do, right? So you just need to do this logic. So for example, you can take a character. So let's say this is the character, okay, of whatever string you are getting, right? String dot caret I. Okay. So this is the character. So how do you store it? Actually, right now you are doing it like this, right? A of C plus plus. This is what you are doing. If you have a 256 size string, instead of this, what you have to do is you have to convert this into the 26 size string. So you just subtract 97 out of it. Done. Sorry, 97. Subtract a out of it. So you'll get, so your array size would be 0 to 26, or the indexes would be 0 to 25. Right? Your array size would be 26. For example, put this into the array, right? So you will get thing like 97 minus 97 is 0, then 98 minus 97 is 1, and so on. Okay. Okay, जिसमें DSA करने so like do company prefers Java or JavaScript or DSA rounds? So your language doesn't matter, right? So you can now guess, right, how easy is it is to figure out. See, companies actually look for logic. Companies can teach you language. They know that you can learn the language. See, I've been working on JavaScript for 2 years. And I have used char coded function, but I forgot this, right? So I immediately Googled up, okay, what's the function that gives the ASCII value, or how do we get ASCII value? Immediately got, okay, char coded. Okay, I remember. Then okay, I have this. So you can Google up these things, but your logic building abilities, you cannot Google that up, right? You cannot Google up to the solutions to the problems that you'll be facing as an engineer. That you have to figure out. Or if you have like difficulties in writing logic in any programming language, that you can Google up, that you can figure out. So companies are okay in the rounds. You can give your online rounds in any particular language. That doesn't matter. Like until you are applying for a experienced role, then your interviews might be language specific. For example, if you are applying for a JavaScript role, or if you are applying for a Java role, then the interviews might be language specific. Otherwise, there are companies who like don't focus very much on language. They focus on your skills. At experienced role, they would prefer that if you have some experience on working on React or Spring or whatever language that they are hiring for, right? That they would prefer. But yeah, your language fundamental is going to be same. Logic to same ही होगा. But we can't Google in front of HR. But you would know to write this logic in Java, right? You would know to write this logic in Java. Then you can say that, sir, can I write this logic in Java? I'm comfortable in Java. Most likely interviewers won't mind you writing in Java or something. Okay. So this initial DSA rounds, you have the liberty to choose your language. Okay. There, interviewer is not going to ask you to write it in JavaScript or something. He is okay with you you writing in your choice language. Okay. In later rounds, like when you will be your technical rounds, for example, your React, or the rounds when you will be appearing for frameworks, where you will be explaining about React, Spring Boot, Node. That rounds you might consider, you might want you to write logic in Java or something if he is asking you, because you how would you write a React code in Java? There is no way, right? You have to use JavaScript. In such situations, you'll need to know. But apart from that, you can learn things in Java, right? Java is going to be fine if you end up becoming a backend developer. So your backend code is entirely Java. So ऐसा तो नहीं है कि everything is written in JavaScript. So every backend code is Java, right, nowadays. So if you are applying for a backend role, so that's completely Java. So the things that you learn in Java is going to be applicable there, right? So let's move to this question then. Understood the logic? Clear? Now I'll tell you the variations of this. There is a lot of variations, and you will be seeing variations like that would be later. You're going to use in things like hash map, dynamic programming, hash rate, a lot of things. Okay, so I'll tell you one variation. So let's say you are given two strings. Okay, one string is very long and one is a very short string. Okay, so one of them is very long. Let's consider S, which is a long string, and this is a very short string. Okay. What you are asked is, so you are asked, so what are the substrings of this string that are anagrams of this? You have to tell, we have to tell how many substrings of this strings are anagram of this string. Tell me any such logic that you can think of. So for example, consider this A M A N A N M A M A N N A N A N. Okay, so let's say this is the string, and this string is Naman. Okay, so this string that you are given is short string is Naman, and what you have to tell is how many substrings of this string is going to be an anagram of this. So one easy solution: you find out all substrings, you find out whether they are that substring is anagram of this or not, and you count it. Okay, that is brute force, right? You find out all substrings. You try to check, okay, how many of these substrings is anagrams, and then you count. Any such logic apart from this that you can think of? Take a minute to think. Anything that you can use, anything you can reuse. Acha, tell me, do you need to find out all substrings, or you optimize over here? Do you need all substrings? Firstly, tell me that. Is all finding out all substrings required? Then which substrings will you find? If you are not finding all substrings, then which substrings will you find? No trees. Not starting from so here, like, see, two anagrams does not need to necessarily start with the same alphabet, right? So anagrams same alphabet se start nahi honge. It is nowhere guaranteed that the anagrams will start with the same alphabet. Think something smarter. Thoda smart socho. There was one correct solution someone mentioned. Yes, Piyush, of size 5, right? The size of the anagram will be equals to the size of the string. So for example, if you are telling that this is an anagram of this string, so its size is going to be same. If you are telling that this is an anagram of this string, its size is going to be same, right? You cannot have two strings as anagram if their sizes are different, right? Sliding window, that can be a good approach to think of. So basically think, what we need to do is, so basically you have the string. Now your substring, you don't need to find out all the substrings. Your substring should only be of 5 length, or whatever is the length of your sorter string, right? So your substring will be of this length. So now basically you remove, so finding out what is the complexity of finding out all substring n cube. What is the complexity of finding out all substrings of size 5? If you don't have to store that substring, then it is order n. If you have to store it, then it is n square, right? But if you don't have to store it, then it is order n. You just have to traverse it, right? So this is the first substring, this is the second, this is the third, this is the fourth. You can simply slide with. Okay, got the idea? You can keep a length of 5 and you can keep on sliding throughout the right. You can add one character at the end and you can remove one character from the start. You don't have to find that substring as well. You don't need to find that substring. You basically your start, and let's say this is the start and end index. So what you have to do is you have to do start plus plus and end plus plus. This is your new substring. So if this was your previous substring, this is your new substring. Our next substring is going to be start plus plus end plus plus. See, if your first substring is 0 to 4, then your second substring is 1 to 5, then your third substring is 2 to 6, then your fourth substring is 3 to 7. Yes. If you just have to store the index, you don't have to find out that substring. So can it be done in order n? Can you get all the substrings? This is the order n solution. That's the final solution is order n. Now, if you get that substring, what you have to do is, see, you find out the count of all the substrings. Iska count store karna. This is an advanced question, right? Still, I'm explaining. This would be marked as medium to hard difficulty in lead code, but this is not very difficult to understand. Okay. So see, you can count the substring, right? So for example, how is it hard? Writing this in order n is actually hard. Okay. This one's anagram is easy. This one is little bit hard. Okay. Now think of this. How will you, okay, let's say you slide this, right? Now still you have this substring and you have this. So what you have to do is you have to do a order and logic, right? You'll do a order and logic over here. You'll count the frequency of this. Let's say you counted it. You'll count the frequency of this characters and then you will compare their count. So basically your loop would look something like them, just writing a pseudocode, right? So for example, let's say you have for I is equals to 0. This is your starting index. I is less than n, I plus plus. So what is your start? Start is I. So if your start is equals to I, so that would increase to by one next iteration. End is equals to I plus whatever is the length, right? Whatever is the length of this, let's call it as k. Okay. So this is your start and end. Next iteration, start will become 1, end will become 1 plus k, right? So that will become 5. Next iteration, start will become 2, it will become 6. So this is your start and end. So now you got start and end. What you have to do is you have to count the frequency. So let's say you will find out CT2 will be a traversal of order n. So you will do a order n traversal like this for j is equals to 0 to less than, sorry, start to less than equals to end j plus plus. Okay, you did this, and what you are going to do over here is you are going to check. You are going to basically increase the count, right? So whatever is the character C plus plus. Okay, and at the end you will need a loop like this to compare, right? So ऐसा कुछ loop लिखोगे that will compare this whether they are equal or not. If they are equal, then if all of them are equal, then you found that if this is anagram, you'll increase the count. So that is again a order n. This is order n, this is order n. So this is 2n inside a loop, that is order n. So this becomes order n into order n, which is order n square. Okay, understood this logic? ये समझ आया? Basically थोड़ा सा brute force को optimize करा. We took one start and end index. We ran to the start to end, counted the basically we found out the count to array which is storing the count to of this particular substring that we found out. जो भी substring हमने consider करा है ना, that particular substrings frequency of each character we counted out. Now once we counted out the frequency, we can run a logic like this to find out whether it is equals to the anagram or not. If it is not, then we'll return. Now can you optimize it beyond n square? And n squares optimize करके can you make it order n? Even array list is going to give you n square. There is a different logic to make it order n. Okay, so this is not going to come in your exam right now, so I will give you time to think. Okay, if you are still not able to get, then ping me. Acha, understood? How many of you understood the question? How many of you understood this approach, and how many of you understood the n square approach? Is this 3 things clear? No, there is no advanced topic needed. There is nothing. There's very simple logic. There is no advanced data structure, nothing. You will be able to do it with simple array, like the one that we are using over here. There is nothing required apart from this. Just you have to think. So let me, okay. Do we have GDB open? Did I close GDB? GDB close कर ये कब करा? ठीक है? Okay, so let's do the stranger things. Okay, you if I don't do it now, it would be left. So stranger thing. Think of the logic. The logic is very interesting. That's why I marked it, right? That's I guess that is marked as this is the hard question on lead code. No, I guess it is medium. No, it's not hard. It is marked as medium. There is another variation of which it is marked as hard, right? So there is this is medium. This would be there in the platform as well. Okay, I guess this is the K anagram problem, right? Yeah, K anagram. Is it marked as easy over here? No, this is not K anagram is different, right? It is easy. Anagram strings. And all anagrams. This is the question, right? Find out. So this is a medium. This is marked as medium. Okay. So you have 2 strings. One is larger and one is the smaller one. You have to find out like the number of anagram strings that you can find out in the larger string. Okay. So this is marked as medium. Yes, same as lead code marking. So this is the question that I discussed. Okay, find all anagram. This is, if you understood the anagram one, try to solve this one. Okay, this is a little variation that doesn't require any advanced tags, so it won't be having hashing. Yeah, that sliding window we discussed, this we discussed, and sasta wala hashing that we know, right? So you don't need anything else to solve this. This is easy. Okay, so let's do stranger things. Stranger strings. Okay, sorry, not stranger things, stranger strings. So given an integer n and an empty string s, you need to modify the string given the operations to make it of length n. Insert the character at the beginning of the string, the second at the end of the string, and the third beginning and the fourth end. Okay, so you what is hashing actually? I'll explain you that in the end. I'll give you a little bit idea. So insert the first character at the beginning, second at the end, third at the beginning, fourth at the end, and so on. Okay. The first character should be followed by first character should be A, followed by B, C up to Z, followed by A. Acha. String builder represents the mutable sequence of character. Okay. And teacher and okay. How many of you did not get the question? See, the question is very easy. Question about easy, just that you have to think of optimizing the complexity. So what the question is telling that you can pick the characters, your characters in the order A, B, C, D up to Z. Okay. So your characters would be in the order A, B, C, D up to Z. So your first character is A. So let's say you're asked to form a string of size 3. So first character is A, you put it at the start. Second character is B, so you put it at the end. Third character is C, so you put it at the start. So you form CAB, so this is the string and that is your result. Okay. Next, if you are asked to form a string of 4 length, then what you need to do is you need to put a character at the start, you need to put a character at the end, you need to put a character at the start, and then you need to put a character at the end. So basically, see, your string is getting formed like this. First character is put as A, second is put at B, which is at end, third character is put at start, fourth character is put at end, fifth is put at start, sixth is put at end, seventh is put at start, eighth is put at end. See the only problem I see in this question is string concatenation, right? If you perform string concatenation, it is going to become n square, which is not going to be fine, right? So you're given t test cases, and so for each test case, your input size is around 10 to the power this. So you have to form t such strings, so your function will be getting called t times. So and you have to form each string in order n, because you cannot have an n square logic like this. So n square logic cannot. But if it exceeds 26, then you will be so it will exceed 26. You have to again start back from A. Okay, you have to start back from A. Here it would get submitted, but that's not the optimal solution. So for example, like C, what is this question asking you to do? So take a character C is equals to okay, let's take an integer. Okay, you take an integer, A is equals to 0. So this is your logic, right? This is your brute force solution where you are checking. You would be running a loop for I is equals to 0, or I is equals to 1, y is less than n, I plus plus. You have to add n characters. Let's say you are using a string builder. A string use kar lete chalo. String s is equals to empty. So if I percentage 2, if I is odd.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I have done in order and logic using string builder. Can you check in the chat, please?
Yes, I'm checking. Just a second. So this is the brute force solution where we are just doing s plus the character A, right? So whatever is the character A plus A. Okay. So if it is even, we'll add it at the end. First character, second character is odd, so gets added at the first character. First character at beginning, second at end. So it is sorry, if it is odd, then it's gets added at the start, otherwise it's get added at the end.
Sir, odd reverse में print reverse में add
and this would be get added at the start plus a. Okay. Now see, so we did this. Now the character is added. Okay, this would be integer, right? So the output of this would be integer. We have to convert it into character before adding. So this one also we have to convert it into character. Yes, I'll use string builder. Just a second. I'll switch to string builder. This is very bad, right? This is something which we should not do, right? Now, okay, so this is the logic that we did, right? So this is the logic that we developed, and we are getting the solution. It's fine. Okay, I don't see any problem. And finally, whatever string we found, we can return s, right? So this is the string that we found. So if we test it in output like this, run code. Okay, there is one problem. We do not increase a. So after this, we can increase a, and if a becomes here after itself, here we can check if a is equals to a percentage 26. B is getting added. B is the character. So a first character is a. Then we add B. B should be added after a, right? 2%. Oh. Okay, we've just done the reverse. Okay. So if it is odd, first scenario we are adding it at the start, and if it is even, we are adding it at the end, right? So this is the output that we should be seeing. Right. Now there is one problem over here, which is a very big problem, that this is a order n operation and this is also a order n operation. So the final complexity of this logic is not O(n), but it is n square, right? Because this operation is order n. Now, let's see how we can use string builder to reduce it. See, okay, so the code that I have shared in chat is not a order n logic, that is again n square logic. Because insertion is order n operation, insertion is not order one. Like insertion at append is order n. So for example, if we use string builder, right, we can do append. Instead of this, we can do append. This is order one, but this operation is if we do added something into the start, that is order n. Insert will make it order n, right? So you cannot add something to the start, that is fundamentally not possible, right? So I can think of something that will do the work. Yes. So if you do, like, you basically cannot do this operation. Insertion at start is order n. Insertion at any index is order n. That is not order one. Insertion at start is order one, because fundamentally think, right? Fundamentally, what is going to happen is you are going to basically do this, right? So you're so let's say this is A, B, C. I tell you to insert a X at the start. So you'll be shifting all of them. So you insert X over here, you shift A over here, B over here, C over here. Insertion and start will require shifting. It cannot happen without shifting. Understood? So can we use something else? Actually, I think there is a way, right? So what is the way? So see this. So insertion at start is order n, right? So let's do this. So let's take another string which we call as temporary string. Okay. So we cannot insert at the start because that would be order n. Like if I do this, s dot append, okay, this is fine. But if I do this, s dot insert 0, and whatever is this character that we are forming, right? So we are forming the same character, right? So let's form it over here. Char c is equals to this. Okay. So whatever character we are inserting C, so this is order n. We have to reduce this. So only way to reduce this is if we do not perform this operation. If we perform this operation, that would become order n, right? So what we can do is see this. So string builder is equals to new string builder, and we'll take empty string. Builder s is equals to new, and we'll take an empty string over here as well. Okay. In both the cases, we have taken an empty string. Now what we will do over here is instead of inserting, we'll do t dot append. So we'll append it over here. Okay. Now tell me what we are going to get at the final result. So one string you are going to get, which is going to be the strings that you are inserting at the end. One string, one would be the string that would inserting at the start, right? So this would be the string that you want to insert at the start. Now, final thing that you have to return is the concatenation of both the strings. So हमें दो strings मिल गए हैं. So for example, if I just print both of them. Okay, so we are getting two strings, and like this is BD, which is the end of this string, and one string we have AC, right? So this is like the reverse, right? So we have to actually reverse this string. T dot, if we just reverse this string, we are going to get it in the correct order. देखो, start में append करना था, starting. We just ended it at the end. So we are getting the reverse of it. If I do the reverse, you are getting these two strings. See, now this is the final result that you should be seeing, right? So if I just print it in the correct order, this is the string that you would want to get, right? So this is the string that you want to get. Now run this. Yes, so this is the string that we wanted to get. It's just that it is two different strings, not a single string, right? See what I did, I just, instead of adding it at the start, I added it at the end. Okay, I created two strings instead of one. I told it that let's say this is a temporary string, and I am adding this string to the, like I'm adding this string. Okay, and I'm adding the string that we're adding at the end. So both of them are adding at their ends, but one of them is should be reversed. So at the end we reverse this T, so we got the correct this. So think it like this. What I'm doing is, instead of finding out this way, instead of doing it in this way, like we have A, then we add B, then C, then D over here, then E over here, then F over here. Instead of doing this, I told let's do A. Okay, then we get, okay, so A is the first string. Okay, then B is the second string, so second string will add over here. Now third string, third character we wanted to add at the start, so we'll add it at this string's end. Next we'll add D, so D will add to the end of this. Next we have to add A, so all these characters will get added in this string. All these characters will get added into this string. Now if we just reverse this ECA, we get the string that we wanted, and we have to just add it to the start of this. Now string concatenation, what's the complexity of adding two string or joining two strings? Is it order n? No, it's not order one, it's order n. Order n, but yeah, that's fine. If we have to perform order n operation over here, we can do it. So we can simply do s dot insert. We can simply insert now 0, t. Reverse is order n square. If reverse is order n square, can you find out reverse in order n? If this inbuilt function's reverse is order n square, can you find out reverse in order n? Let's say you are telling reverse is order n square. So can we find out a reverse in order n? Easy, you know. I don't know n square q n order n होना चाहिए. Let's say if it is order n square. Okay. So can we do it for n I is equals to 0, I is less than t dot length. Okay. T2 is equals, sorry, उल्टा लिखना पड़ेगा ना, t dot length -1. This is greater than equals to 0, I minus minus. हो गया? Is this now finding out the reverse in order n? See, this is a order 1 operation inside, and we have run it for order n times. So is it finding out the reverse in order n? No problem. Okay, and then you can append this T2. This is order n operation. So you have order. So you have the first loop is also order n. This operation is order n, finding out the reverse, and then finally insertion also is order n. So you are getting the final complexity as order n plus order n plus order n, 3n is order n, right? Now, if you run this, you'll still see the correct result. And if you submit it, it should be fine. Ten n तो नहीं है ना, 3n है. How is it 10n? It is 3n. 3n, na? This is order n. This is order n. And this is order n. So 3n ही हुआ ना. हाँ, 10n is problem, right? I told you already. 10n तो ऐसे नहीं consider कर सकते ना. 3n, 2n, 4n तक it's fine, right? Even 6n, 7n is fine sometimes. But yeah, like very large number you cannot do. Understood? Clear? Yes, no? See here, like in this entire question, right, this was a very good example of how you can like reduce your operations over here, right? In one string, how can you reduce your operation inside loop so that you can move that operations outside, right? So instead of doing an insertion at start, we created a string which is reverse. Fine, because if we perform the reverse outside, that is the order and operation. Instead of performing it over here, that is order and operation inside. This makes it n square. Paste this solution in community. Yes, I'll paste it in the. I'll paste it over here. The last day's notes are mixing over here. कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो गया. Okay, understood. Notes. Let me copy this. Paste it over here. I pasted it in chat. Okay, you can save this link, use it. Okay. Okay, what else is remaining? Okay, let me open one more question. We did all the questions, right? Was there anything else that's remaining? Okay, let's close the tabs. Oh, achha, this was remaining, right? Catch me if you can. Achha, let me first check. Is this not marked as anything else? I think it's sorted. Okay. So this is a hard question. So okay, so let's discuss. If you don't have any other question, then I'll discuss this. If you have any other questions, then I'll discuss them first. Whichever you want, because I think if we start this, it will take all the remaining time. And then next nearest supporter. Okay. There are n contestants standing in a row, right? Order n version for this. There are n contestants standing in a row. Each contestant is assigned a rating which is integer. Each contestant supports all those ratings is greater than their rating. Okay, now each contestant standing in the row, you need to tell the rating of the closest supporter to the left. Stack. This is a question of stack. Stack, see. So we stack the question. So the order and there is an order in logic, but that is using stack. That cannot be done using without stack. Okay. So this would be there in the next module, stacks. So this is a question of stack. This is like a classic example of stack questions where you are asked to find out nearest something to the left or nearest something to the right. It is a stack question. Right away from this, you can figure out. Okay. N square, see right now, like if you are on module 1, the time constants are not strict, but later when you go to module 2, the time constants would become strict for you. So your so those solutions won't get accepted. So you will see the stricter constants. Okay. Okay. What else? So is there any other question that I am left to discuss? Find all allograms. Yeah, this was the question that I explained you, right? Now we can think of the logic. Okay. Anything else? Anything from the assignments or anything that we have discussed so far? That's the meaning. Okay, there is a revision sheet as well. Okay. What's this? Oh, that's good. Oh, this is a good DSA one. Acha, this is having questions from everything. You can filter it module wise, right? So you can put a module filter. Restart launch. Oh, so this is something which you can practice, right? So you can put filters of the current module and you can practice and complete all of them, right? Revision sheet, you can complete the revision sheet. How many of you have completed the revision sheet for this for your module? So you have a module filter. This was specifically developed for all of you, right? So for example, those who are repeating the module restart, you can put the module restart filter. If you have questions, you'll have good questions over here as well. 4 are remaining. Okay, so that's great, right? If only 4 are remaining, that's great. 16 run out of 16 questions, so that's great, right? Okay, so solve all of them. I guess most of them are repeated. So if it's the same question, you would already see solved. So that's the best thing about the portal, right? If you have solved that question, it shows you solved no matter from wherever you are opening it, right? If you are opening it from the Zim or if you are opening it from the assignment, it shows you solved. That's the best thing I like about the portal. Right, so you don't end up solving the same question multiple times. You solve always the variations of it. Okay, there are good number of string questions as well and good number of array questions that I'm seeing. So that's a very good list, I guess. Okay, that's fine, right? Easy level because you can. This is like a revision sheet, right? So this should tell you ki what's the like if we are able to solve this revision sheets and whatever we are expecting from you, right? To get from the module, you have got it. Okay, you are able to understand this if you did this. Chitra had a doubt on AG number. Okay, let's discuss that. Actually, okay, now I don't see the AG question solution over here. Now that's a big problem. Why is this? So let's first open the portal, right? So it's there. Which example was it? Chitra. AG number was, I guess, strings. String 2. No, string builder. AG number, yes, this one. Ultra fast mathematician. Okay, so let me explain this one. See, so there are few things that you can observe from here. So I'll start by explaining this, what we have done, and then I'll explain the solution. See, so what is the what is the AG number? So AG number is nothing but a prime number. How can we know that AG number is nothing but a prime number? So basically, see what we are doing over here. So we are basically trying to find out the firstly, like it is telling that these are the AG numbers, which is prime numbers. And it is telling any number which is not divisible by these numbers are AG numbers. So basically, any number which is not divisible by this are also prime numbers. Any number which is not divisible by prime number are also prime numbers because every non-prime number will also have some prime factor. कुछ prime factors होगा definitely. The non-prime factors can be broken down into prime factor. वो prime factor में breakdown हो सकते हैं, ठीक है? So those will be also factors. So basically, AG numbers are nothing but prime numbers. Okay. So now what it has told over here that we have to find out the maximum number of AG numbers we can find. Okay. So we can find out and it can be substrings. If it has told just find out the maximum number of AG number we can find, then it was easy, right? But it told that they cannot overlap. So what does this overlap condition mean? That for example, if this is your string, then 499 is also prime, which is AG number. 991 is also prime, which is AG number. So we have to either choose 499 or 999, not both. We cannot choose both of them. We can just choose only one of them, right? So see what we did over here. We firstly we ran the logic in a little bit different way to find out substring. So earlier we were finding out substring like we were picking a start index and we were picking the end index. End index we were expanding. Now we told we'll pick it in a different way. We'll find out all the substrings of size 1, then size 2, then size 3, and so on. Why for size 1? Because if you pick the substrings of size 1, if all of them are primes, then you get the maximum number of prime numbers, maximum number of AJ numbers. But if you pick strings of length 2, length 3, you will find out lesser number of it. So we firstly took one loop that is running for the length. and the second loop which is running for the start index. So if this is your length, the start index is going to be this. Okay. Now we find out the substring. So if we pick the length, we find out the start index, and then we find out the substring of the string. Okay. So we found out the substring. Now actually, okay, see, we found out the we took a substring that will find out the substring. Now before finding out, so let's say this is finding out the substring, right? So we are finding out the substring over here, and we are then checking whether this substring we are converting it to number, and we are checking whether it is prime or not. This is straightforward logic, right? If I remove this array checks, whatever you have done with this array, if I remove it, then it is easy. We find out the length, we find out the substring, all substrings of that length, all substring of length 1, all substring of length 2, all substring of length 3, and so on. And once we get all the substring of length 1, 2, 3, and so on, what we want to do is we want to check whether that substring is prime. If that is prime, we simply count it. But since we are counting firstly the length 1, length 2, length 3, the count is going to come out to be maximum. We don't have to take any maximum condition or anything, right? Okay. So now how we are checking for the duplicate scenario. Firstly, tell me, understood this part? कि क्या कर रहे हैं? Substring find out करे, check करे, is it prime? And if it is prime, then we are simply counting it. And this is ensuring that we'll get maximum count because we are taking it in order of length 1, length 2, length 3, and so on, so that it gives us the maximum count. What is 31? Then I think I will not be considered. Step 2 no, the AJ number is not only till 29. It has also told you that these are AJ numbers, and any numbers which are not divisible by the number in point 2 are also AJ numbers, right? So it has told any numbers which are not divisible by these numbers are also AJ number. So 31, 37, all 39, all those 39, 31, 37, 41, all those numbers are also AJ number. All those prime numbers are also AJ number because they are not divisible by any numbers here, right? And any number like which is non-prime will definitely be divisible by at least one number over here. They are indirectly saying it is prime, right? This is a good question to catch, that this is simply wasting your time to think this is nothing but prime number. Okay. Okay. Now, how did we handle the duplicate logic? So for that, I took a array. Okay. This will store the index that we have included in our result. It will store the index of the strings that we have included in our result. So initially it is 0. That means we have not included it. If I plan to include any index, right? If I plan to include any subarray, I just mark all of the indexes in the subarray as 1. So let's say I'm including the substring from here to here. Let's say 161. So I'll mark 161 all the indexes as 1, so that I don't accidentally include 8161 as into my result, right? Because if this is marked as 1, will not include this thing. So what we are doing, if we marked it 1 and later while finding out the substring, I check if it is marked as 0, 1. If it is marked as 1, I simply break the loop and I say that let's continue for the next iteration, because the substring that we are trying to consider right now has characters that we have already counted or has characters that we have already considered in some other substring. Got it? So basically we are trying to not count that, take the substring for which it has some character which is already shared by some other string. Just give me a second. Yes. Now tell me, understood it? Doubts?
What actually are we storing in that index? Like are we storing index or the value over there?
So like this arrays indexes are the index of the string. Okay. So if the value is 0, that means that index is not included. For example, let's say the index 2. So its value is initially 0. So that means we have not included it in the result. When we include that into the result, we put the value as 1. Okay. So if I include anything, I put the value as 1. If I have not included that thing, so I put the value remains 0. So while forming this substring, I check, is there any character, is there any index, right? Is there any index in the current string which we are considering? For example, if we are considering this, is there any index among this which is marked as 1? That means I would have taken that already. Okay, so for that we are marking flag 1 and breaking this, and if the flag is 1, we simply move to the next iteration. Basically, we don't do that logic of passing that into number or checking whether it is prime or not. We don't do that logic for the string, for the string that is like for the string which has characters which we have already included in some other string, right? Got the idea?
Okay, okay. Yes.
So this is like the for everyone, like this is a easy trick that you can use. So for example, string, I always tell it is like array, right? Now string indexes you can treat, if you, or in case of array, right? If you have to do something with the index, if you have to remember whether I have done if this index is something or not, you can use an additional array to store that value. Okay. Sasta switching, Sasta hashing, right? You call it as hashing. So these are the examples of hashing. Like gradually you will, after using this, you'll move to hashing, but these things are still powerful. Even though you use hashing, hashing is nothing but, again, hashing is also done using arrays. Hashing ka insight, chalo. I'll give you some insight on hashing, right? Since we have talked about this word so many times. So see, if you have to count characters, what you do? You like count it using ASCII values, right? Like of, let's say 97, you put it as 1, 2 or something, right? If you have to count ASCII value. But what if you have to count strings? What if you have to count float? What if you have to count negative numbers? You cannot put them as you cannot put them as indexes. If you want to have something like index, like say you want to put a Rahul, you want to have a index like Rahul for which you can put the count as 3. So let's say there is an array of strings, not array of characters, right? Rahul, Rohan, and I tell you to count the frequency of each string. What will you do? See, you will, there is no way you can store the count of each strings if you cannot do this. This is what hashing is. Hashing allows you to keep string, keep float numbers, keep characters, keep alphabets, keep numbers, anything as you want as the index. Okay, whatever you were not allowed to put as index in the array, you can put them as index in the hashing. Okay. Okay, that's it. So now if you use this, you can do this operation in order. And earlier, if you don't have this hashing, if you don't know hashing, if you don't know, then the only way to count the number frequency of each string is to basically compare it with the other string and check whether it is equal or not. So that is a order n square operation, right? Now comparing a strings is also not O1. It will become. Hashing is implemented on top of arrays. So array fundamentals is going to help you. So hashing used in security, that is like, so the hashing is basically a mathematical term, right? So this that is used in encryption, that is used in like this hashing that we discussed, which is used in like creating hash map, hash sets, and it is also used in things like encryption, decryption, which is there in security and something password protection. So that is also there in blockchain. Also hashing is used. So hashing is a very generic concept that is used. Your every authentication system that you use, like a login system, uses hashing to protect your password and username, all those things, right? So data protection, security, everything relies on hashing, a lot of things. Okay. Yes, it is reality. Hashing is very like hashing has a vast number of applications. Okay, so it is used in a lot of places. Okay, understood. Okay, I guess then that's it until you ask for another session before your exam. Okay, we have actually one session. Okay, we have on Sunday, we have a like weekly contest discussion, that is this Sunday. Okay, so this is not the last time we are meeting, because I have got that information that there is a contest discussion on Sunday. So we'll see you all on Sunday. So all the best for tomorrow's exam. Okay, do well, prepare well. Okay, try to do your best.
Sir, online GTB link, sir, send please.
Link I've sent it, right? I've sent the link in the chat. You can check it's there in the chat. Let me share it again. I guess there is some code that got accidentally deleted or what happened. I don't know. Yesterday's code is something I'm not seeing over here. Yesterday I pasted a logic for AJ number and all those questions. I don't see them over here right now. I don't see CBOP, Restosthenes, all those things. Yes. required or it requires? Is the match going on or is it completed? Okay, so okay, all the best for your exams. Catch me if you can. Chalo, we'll discuss that on Sunday. We have one more session. Okay, so Sunday we'll discuss the contest and then we'll discuss that question. Okay, so that's a hard question. Do you want hint? I'll have to read the question then. Okay, so now try to figure out, right? I told you how you can read questions. Try to figure that out. So let's see, right? If I can give you some hint right away. I'll have to read the question. There is a very lengthy essay kind of thing. Chalo, we'll do it. Chalo, we'll solve it, right? Meanwhile, you try to figure out. If you if you are not able to, then we'll do it on Sunday. Take we have Sunday. All we'll discuss. Nan, you want hint? Chalo, let's discuss this. Okay, so I'll take 5 minutes. I'll not leave you in between since I put this question at the start. So there is one policeman and there are cane thieves. Okay. So one is hiding. There is one hiding spot on a coordinate line. The police is located at a coordinate 0. The hiding spot is located at a point 10. All the thieves are located between the policeman and the hiding spot. The higher thief is located at index at the point xi. Acha, okay. At each point, many thieves can be located. And 1 second, the following happens. First, exactly one thief moves to the right by 1. If the thief reaches the hiding spot, it hides. Yeah, that is, the policeman will not be able to catch him. Then, after that, the thief has finished the move. Police moves to the right by 1. Okay, we'll need to solve it. I guess my brain has stopped working. Okay, this is a lengthy one. Okay. No, that's not the Sasta hashing one. Like there is a proper hashing thing that goes, right? So there is a complete hashing logic of how it works. Now, okay, we'll do it on Sunday. So let me think, right? If I can figure out. So actually what you need to do is now you need to read through this and you need to run it for all the 3 examples. And you have to validate whether you understood it correctly, right? Firstly, you have to validate whether you understood it correctly, and then only you will be able to write the logic. And there should not be, so this should be shorting. Okay, that's fine. There is no DP or something added. Okay, so. Okay, so what I'll say is, one hint I can give you is read through this and run all the examples like this over here and validate. If you're still having doubts that whether you understood the question correctly, try to get the expected output for give some given input and then validate whether you are getting the correct output as per your understanding. If it is fine, then you understood it correctly. Most likely it is marked as sorting, so there would be some sorting that you can apply and you can get the result. Okay, so okay. Okay, you can try this. If you succeed, then we'll see your code. Otherwise, we'll solve it on Sunday. Okay. So all the best for tomorrow's module test, tomorrow's weekly contest. Do well. Solve the revision sheet. Okay, if you have time before your final module test, so till then solve the revision sheet. We have solved enough assignment questions, so you should not face any difficulty in solving the revision sheet. If you are having doubts on that, we'll discuss them on Sunday. The Sunday class timing is 11 to 2. Okay, so it's morning 11 to 2. So we'll try to use that to solve the remaining question and discuss the contest. All the best for your contest. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye. Take care.